You're welcome back to Channel Sport this morning, and we're getting with the show now. And Chidibere is in the building, and Chidibere, good morning. Thanks for coming on the show.
Good morning. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, what a day for you to be around. Pinnick, NFF president. You heard from him later on. It's basically apologizing to the Falcons for the neglect in quotes now. I don't know.
Is it in quotes?
Yeah, neglect, because
it's out there. The neglect is out there. It's obvious.
Would you say they've been neglected? Really?
Obviously.
Okay, tell me about it.
I think the insult of having to protest for what is due you after winning a competition,
okay.
that for me already is an insult on him, so on the girls themselves, and of course female football in general in Nigeria. So for me, I think him coming out to apologize, it's only the right thing for him to do. There is only so much you can do before it's obvious you're being partial to a particular sector. So I think him coming out to apologize, it's only the right thing for him to do. Because neglect it's been enormous.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, because you know, when you check the fact that the Super Eagles didn't qualify for the Nations Cup back to back, and you know they needed to actually focus on them, because absolutely there's no doubt Super Eagles happens to be our biggest brand. Yeah. Of course, you can rule that out and everything. All over the world, the senior male national team seems to be always the focus. So the focus on the Super Eagles qualifying for the World Cup, ensuring that not just qualifying, qualification on time, you don't have to use your calculator and all that and everything. Don't you think that may have added to it? Because
I have no problem with giving a little more focus to the Super Eagles, but when you intentionally ignore the needs of others just so that you think, that's what I feel is happening. To the detriment of... Yeah, it was to the detriment. Okay, now they've brought out a list of their budget for next year, and it's obvious that the Super Eagles are still the attention. You say, okay, yes, 2018 World Cup is, but then when you're saying that you're not going to, there won't be any match bonuses for underage competitions, except for the Super Eagles and Super Falcons, it just leaves a lot to, okay, are we just focusing on the Super Eagles because they're going to the World Cup? It leaves a lot of lapses here and there. For the Falcons, if we don't have to protest again, I think that's a victory on its own. Because for me, January this year was just a serious insult to female football in Nigeria, where the ladies had to stay in their hotel. They weren't going to leave until you paid them something that was due them. And of course,
it was a bit embarrassing.
It was embarrassing for everybody.
And everyone is trying to move on now, right? There's the managerial situation as well too,
which they have sorted out.
Which they have sorted out, have they?
Well, the thing is, since they're already working on,
we know they're working on something,
on getting their desired coach. I think for me, Pinnick coming out to say, I'm sorry it's taking time, okay, we focused on the Super Eagles, now we are looking at you. For me, I think that is a little bit good enough. Now, let's see them put the apology into action. It's not just coming out on screen time to say, I'm sorry for this, I'm sorry for that, and then you go back to doing the same thing you were doing. Let's see them put a little bit of attention on the female football. Let's have at least one friendly next year. The year has gone by. Barely an action from the Super Falcons because they're not qualifying. I think the World Cup is still to 2019, so the qualifiers I think is next year that they get to start.
We have the Nations Cup next year.
Exactly. Nothing. No camp. No kind of camp. We will appreciate, even if it's a club side in Nigeria.
That's what they're doing. We don't want that. Okay, you know what? We'll hear from the main man talking about the NFF president, Pinnick.
He'll be coming in the next 10 days to perfect his contract. He's talking to the girls already, and he's working, and the girls are so excited. Okobi called me and said, wow, I know him. He's a wonderful coach. They are very, very excited. So within the next 10 days, I'm sure we'll sign his contract, and we'll go to work. He's even looking for some friendlies already. He has the tentacles, and we're really working. We want to apologize to the Falcons, we didn't ignore them. We took just a strategy developed by say, okay, let us concentrate and get our super brand, the Super Eagles, back on track. We'll come back for them, It's not easy running Nigerian football, The environment is very tough, we've not gotten to where we want to go to. There are still some things that we need to perfect here and there, you know. There are still some things that will come up, you know. There are still some questions that are going to be asked. We are still going to make mistakes. Obviously, we are going to make mistakes. We are humans who must make mistakes. But our ability to correct those mistakes is what makes us, and see whether we don't repeat such mistakes, you know. But we try. But as the head of the Nigerian Football Federation, I always want to take responsibility.
Yeah, well, as a head, you know, the responsibility will always fall on you. But I love what he said, you know, about them. You know, they're bound to make mistakes and all that. But the thing is, they'll try not to repeat such mistakes. You know, you mentioned a situation whereby, you know, the girls were not really in action. But he's saying, look, he's apologized. And, of course, we understand that. And some of the girls are even, I remember last time I spoke with Aziza Shola, she said, yes, they've iron it out. There was a time they went on Twitter and they were talking about the fact that, hey, I mean, it's almost 1 year since they won the championship. They're not doing anything. Yeah. So NFF had to call them to order, you know, girls, come around, don't worry. Super Eagles, they've qualified, so the focus now being. I hope the focus will really be on them, because next year is going to be tough. You're going to be having enough championship. The under 17, the under 20, then you have the Falcons, of course, you know, the World Cup in later in France also. Of course, the Falcons, theirs is going to be the last one, the Nations Cup, which is going to be in Ghana. So 2018 is going to be a very busy year for them. And I'm happy that they already sorted out the Super Eagles. So to speak, on paper, they've sorted it out, because we're not going to have issues of bonuses and all. So the focus will now be on the other teams that they feel, okay, they can really handle. But having the World Cup, in the World Cup here, where March Super Eagles are going to play up to 4 friendlies and all that, according to what he has said about their preparations and everything, would they really have time for the girls? It's not going to be the same story, because I'm afraid here.
What are you?
It's about delegation. Yeah. He doesn't have to do the job himself. There are committees everywhere. There are groups in charge of female football. It's just left for them to do their job, and then of course for the head to make the finance available for other competitions. For me, I think there was so much under the radar talk about the Falcons qualifying their qualification games for the World Cup, you know, in France, and for me, I think it's just about doing the right thing at the right time. On paper, they have sorted out the Super Eagles. I think if they can get their friendlies now, know who they're playing and at what time.